Hi, I'm Nia. I'm a second year English student from Clare. I'm originally from Cardiff. Um, when making this video, I thought probably the best way for me to give you some idea of what my life at Clare is like is to run you through what I do in my average week, both academically and for fun. So the Cambridge week begins on a Thursday. Nobody knows why, but once you get going, you really don't notice it because time just goes on. The way that English is taught, and it's not the same for every single subject, is that we do a paper a term. So most of the teaching that you do in one term will be on one specific time period. So the week I've chosen is from last winter term when we were doing the medieval paper. So like most of the stuff you're going to hear about is on like Chaucer, Gawain, whatever. But just like substitute Shakespeare or modern stuff into it and you've got the right idea. So on the Thursday of this week, I had lectures from 9 until 12 in the morning, 3 lectures. Um, and the spread of the lectures, I guess, gives you a good idea of what you get taught on the English course. So the first one was on a specific text, which was Chaucer's Book of the Duchess. The second one was on like a more general idea, which was beauty in the mind. So the idea of whether beauty in the period is something quantifiable or whether it's something that is completely subjective. And the last one was on alliterative poetry and how poets in the period use alliteration. Um, for English, lectures are not really compulsory, so there are lots of people in Clare who don't go to them. I like to go to them, A, because they force me to actually get up, and B, because I tend to find they give me some ideas. So after the lectures, which were on the main teaching site, Sidgwick, I had a supervision at 3. And in a supervision, generally there's 2 of you there and 1 academic. And you discuss essays that you've written for the supervision in the week before. So my essay for this one was on medieval graffiti, so particularly looking at graffiti that people wrote in churches at the time of the plague, sort of saying there was a plague, we died, it was really awful, and looking at like how we're supposed to approach these critically and whether there's like a moral duty on us as critics to look at them in a certain way that reflects the fact that they are, documents people's pain. So you can get into quite deep questions in English quite quickly, and I really, really enjoyed that about the course in Cambridge. Then at like 4:45 I had another supervision. This one was a bit different because it was for my dissertation. So in the first half of the English course, which I'm still in second year, you can swap out up to 2 papers for bits of coursework, one of which is like a portfolio of essays and one of which is like a mini dissertation. And the dissertation, as long as it's in the time period of the paper you're swapping out, can be on anything you want. So, like, do you know teenage boys who spend a lot of time in their rooms, girls too, but singing sad songs? My dissertation is basically that, just it's 1600 and they've got lutes, and it's absolutely great, I've loved it. So I had an hour on that. And then my teaching for the day was done for the Thursday, and in the evening I went to go and see a play. And the theatre scene is something which is really exciting in Cambridge. It's probably something that you've heard of. I don't want to say that it's completely dominated by English students, but 2 of the big productions last year were Cymbeline the musical and Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, and I sort of doubt that either of those would have happened had the English faculty not made them set texts. So, make of that what you will. I had slightly less teaching on Friday. Thursday was a really busy day for an English student. I had 3 lectures in the morning again, but then I had another lecture in the afternoon, which was an introduction to Beowulf. So one of the things that's quite cool about the English course at Cambridge is that you can borrow language papers. So I know people who do French, people who do Irish, which is really nice because often they're, not people who've done it before. I borrow Old English, and for Old English I've got a lecture a week where there's a little bit of pre-reading to do, and also a language class where I have to do translation. And it's like quite nice actually to have something a bit different to break up your week. And that was all I had on Friday, except for like in the evening I went out clubbing with my friends. I'm pretty sure we went to have a night. So then it was the weekend, yay. I tend to like to work through most of the weekends because it's like a time when you don't have to go out for teaching and you can really focus. Also, Cambridge tends to get a bit chock-a-block with tourists on weekends, and it's not fun being trampled by a large group of people. So on Saturday I spent most of the day working, but me and my friends in college always have a big dinner on Saturday night, which is really nice because, you know, you get to see everyone, chat, catch up. You do catch up, so most days I'll be having lunch with them as well. Sunday evening I went to a concert, which was really cool. So one of my friends who's studying in London, she came up and we both went to see Amanda Palmer, and that was really good fun. So even though I work at Cambridge, there's also time to like do things. So on the Monday, teaching started again. I had 2 lectures in the morning and then my Old English translation class at 3 o'clock, which is always really good fun. And then in the evening it was one of my friend's birthdays, so we like got her a cake and we had like a big meal, and that was really good fun. We went out after that as well. So on Tuesday I had 3 lectures in the morning, and that was teaching for the day done. But so I worked for most of the rest of the day. But in the evening I had something quite exciting, which was an event on anti-Semitism in politics. So this year I've been the deputy head of Clare College's Politics Society, and we are funded by college and we organise events on things that we think that people really care about. So we tend to invite speakers from the university, from London, from everywhere really, to discuss topics hopefully that people are interested in. And this one was a good event because the Jewish community in Clare and around the rest of the university got really involved, so it really felt like we were doing something that mattered and that people cared about. So finally, Wednesday, end of the week. Woo! I only had 1 hour of teaching on Wednesday, and that was something called practical criticism, which is essentially Cambridge teaching you how to read. Prac Crit is supposed to be the heart of the Cambridge English course, and it's really thinking about how you think. So this session the topic of it was autobiography, so we've been set little bits of autobiography, writing about like sort of the self, bit of Freud, and so we sat and chatted about that for an hour, which was really good fun. And then in the evening I had quite a busy evening, so I had a meeting for a debating competition that I was running later that term, and then there was sort of a little drinks party with everyone else who was doing English at Clare, which gets put on a couple of times a term and is always really nice because you get to mingle with the people who teach you as well as the people in your year. And then I had to leave that a bit early to run and do some training for Street Bite, which is a homeless charity in Cambridge that I volunteer in. So that was a week at Cambridge. I hope that you have enjoyed it and found it informative.